Welcome to the Bare Essentials Podcast, where the talk is real and hibernating on your goals is not an option.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Really honored today to have PA Senatorial candidate Sam Oropeza joining us. Sam, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to people, get your message out there. Myself being a lifelong resident of Philadelphia and not really happy with how things are going. And I see that someone like you is willing to get out there and run, and it makes me excited. So really, really happy to have you on. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
So Sam, I was thinking about this, and I know a little bit of your background. I'm going to let you get into that, but knowing a little bit of your background, I couldn't help but really think about that quote that talks about weak men create bad times, strong men create good times. On that note, could you give the audience a little bit of info about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'll start from the beginning. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. I was raised by a single mother. I always feel that's important to tell that part of the story, just because those experiences as a young child are what pushed me into wanting to become a professional fighter. So after I graduated from trade school, after high school and everything, I started training at the Fight Factory in Fishtown with Eddie Alvarez and a bunch of other very talented MMA fighters in Philly. And that's where I started my professional fighting career. I had 18 professional fights. In 2015, I started my family, and by 2017, I already had my last fight. So I was happy to no longer be fighting, and I got a lot out of my professional fighting career. I kind of rolled everything into my real estate career, and I moved my family right here to the city of Philadelphia 4 months before the start of the pandemic. And I have those 4 months, I got to see like what a normal experience in Philadelphia was. And then I just watched my quality of life decline. It felt like every day until, my family goes over the bridge now to go food shopping. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of, feeling the feeling of living in fear. So I wanted to do something about it. So now here I am running for state senate.
And Sam, that's great, because one thing I always think about, one of the reasons why I feel like the city is in the position it's in, and not just the city, the country, I feel like there's too many people who get involved in public service for the wrong reasons. I think they get into it to better themselves in their own situations. Their motives to me always seem ulterior. And one of the things that comes across from you to me is that I feel like, and hearing you talk, I feel like it's coming from the right place. And I think that's really important along with your background, because I think we need a strong individual, a strong-minded individual who's ready to get in there and do what's right for the city. Now, I've seen some of your ads that are running now, which, by the way, very nicely done. I think they're fantastic. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things where your main points in the ads. One of the things I want to bring up right away is the crime that this city is deteriorated into with the murders, carjackings, burglaries, all of that. How are you feeling about that? And could you give us a little bit of how you think you can help that situation?
Yeah, so how I feel about it is, look, I for the past 3 years, I've worked in the absolute most dangerous part of the district that I'm running in. And I have watched how, in this neighborhood, there are rules that the rules don't apply there, but other places in Philadelphia, these rules are enforced. And you see how the soft on crime policies are really destroying the city. I mean, I see it every day. So, how I feel about it is I want to do something about it. And who would I be if, the message I gave to my 5-year-old and my 6-year-old are, when things get tough, or if you feel like something's happening that's not right, you do nothing about it or you run away from it. So, and again, you asked how, and what was the second part of that question?
How, if you get elected, what do you think are some of the things that you could do to help that situation?
Yeah. So the number one thing that I've been doing it for coming up on a year now, is building back neighborhood pride and the sense of community that was once in all of these neighborhoods that we're in. I started a nonprofit called Rescue. And here's an issue that I see a lot of times happen is you see politicians that, and there's a tragedy that happens, and they put a Facebook post, and they'll put something out there, which I think's nice to remember. It is nice to let people know who are going through hard times that you're thinking of them. But we can roll our sleeves up right now, and we can all get involved, and we can all clean up. And I wanted to take the approach of being a small businessman. For me to support my family here in the city of Philadelphia, I have to work hard. I have to do my part. And if you are hold on, excuse me. I don't want to say if you are a politician, but when you do get elected into office, right, you should be working. And that's the problem that I see happening so much, where people think because now they are elected, you don't have to do anything. I just want to bring what I've worked on my time as a small business owner to the city. And, I've operated on a small budget, and I have found a way to support my family and create a thriving business. And this is what I want to bring to everybody. I want to bring that hard work and that willingness to execute on solutions that we need right now.
Sam, I think you kind of touched on it. I think we deal a lot of times in this day and age, especially with, and probably even going back prior, with a lot of elected officials, it feels like they run on empty promises because that's what they use to try to get elected. And I feel like, especially in Philadelphia, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to be blunt, I feel like too many people fall for it. They fall for these empty promises. It's almost like they steal your vote in a way by offering you something they don't deliver. So I can appreciate someone like you who wants to lead by example and get out there, roll your sleeves up, and work hard. I think that's a fantastic message. And I think as a city, we all need to incorporate that ourselves, because too many of us are just sitting back and hoping and looking for the handout. And it has to change, because there's not going to be a city for our kids if we keep this up. There really isn't. So now we talk about kids. One of the other things you talk about is schools. And again, I'll say it, and this is my opinion, I don't want to speak for Sam, but when I watched last night and I see all these politicians without their face masks, they're hugging. And then this morning, my daughter has to put that mask on and go to school. Things like that bother me. And I feel like our schools are starting to get away from educating our kids, and they're trying to almost indoctrinate our kids. And it scares me. So I wanted to get your opinion on that stuff, Sam.
Yeah. And to your point, as a father, we get hit with, I'm the head of the household. I'm the leader of my family. And when I would see my daughter, come home and feel anxiety and feel anxious, it was heartbreaking, because she just didn't want to wear the mask anymore. And, we're putting our kids through these experiences, and you're seeing other people, these rules don't apply. It's just, to me, enough is enough with it. And look, the other thing that is going to get lost when we talk about schools is, number one, I'm pro school choice. So I want everyone to know that. Number two, what I'm seeing happening in the city of Philadelphia is you are seeing the dangerous repeat violent felons who are allowed to go right back on the street and serve no time, no punishment whatsoever. And then these are the men who are going to be the role models for the next generation of young kids growing up in the city. And the tide needs to turn. There needs to be a what I believe to be like a reawakening of just actions and habits that build good character. And I just, it breaks my heart every day seeing children who they look out their window or look across the street and they see the drug dealer, and they see the drug dealer gets the respect. And now that becomes the blueprint of what they should become as a person. And it breaks my heart. And I want this tide to change. I really, as a man, I want to go out there and I really want to lead the city. And look, Harrisburg is a Republican majority. Who would you rather have writing or talking to the people writing the budget? It just makes sense right now. But why are we forcing parents to send their kids to a school that's failing? If a parent wants to send their child and is willing to fight for their child to get a better education, the parent should have a choice on where that child goes to school at. And, we're losing a whole generation of young people. And that's the future of Philadelphia right there. We're letting it just go right down the drain. And it's a collection of these failed policies. And really, who does it harm the most? The people who can't raise any money for us, the people who actually can't go out and vote for the policies that can help them. We're not helping our children. And it's time that we've really put our focus on our children.
And Sam, that alone, that message alone, just regardless of everything else, I feel like we are at a crossroads right now that anyone listening to this needs to really start to take that more serious. Because like I said earlier, I think at the rate we're going, the city just continues to deteriorate. Either everyone leaves or they stay because they can't afford to leave. And then this quality of life for the future generations, especially our kids, it scares me to think about, especially when I think about my own childhood and probably your childhood as we grew up. It was a different world and it was a better place. The other thing you mentioned in your campaign ad that I wanted to ask about is taxes. We're getting the short end of the stick, so to speak, as far as taxes, because I look out every day and a lot of things we just talked about, I see no value where my tax money is going at all. It doesn't seem like it's doing any good.
There's a lot of ways I can go with the taxes, but I guess the first thing I'll say is you can't tax your way into prosperity. Just like you can't borrow your way out of debt. So we have the resources, the money's there. I just believe the system is broken. And when you constantly put the machine in power and the machine's interest will always be that of the machines, there's a real political machine here in the city of Philadelphia. And, we're also the city underdogs. This is the city that, think about it. Think about we're the Rocky story. We are the underdogs. And I do believe that, what do they say luck is? When preparation meets opportunity. It's a special election. It's a short period of time. All of the things I'm facing, he's facing. So this really can happen. And look, I'm pro small business. It's getting harder to do business in the city of Philadelphia, not only because of the crime, but like you said, the wage tax is the highest in the country. You have the soda tax for some odd reason. I don't understand if that's helped anybody, but we're overtaxed here, and the resources are here. So it's time to get new ideas in there. We're well overdue.
Yeah, and I would love to see someone like you get in there, Sam, to start to add a fresh perspective, to allow new ideas to become more apparent, and not only apparent, but let's start acting on new ideas. That's we see now that what's happening now doesn't work. Philly is broken, and it's broken in a bad way. And we need somebody like you in there and others like you to start to fix it. And Sam, I wanted to kind of end on this because I want to make sure people get this really clear. This is a special election because I do
Yep.
feel like in this city, people just feel automatically it's a blue city, it's a Democratic city. It doesn't matter what I do, vote or not, we don't have a shot. I wanted to give you a couple minutes here to kind of describe what this is, and I agree with you. I think you do have a serious chance to win this.
Yeah. So absolutely. So, like I said before, I'm not going to City Hall. I'm going to Harrisburg. So we have a Republican majority in the state. And we have a Republican state rep right now, Martina White, who has done just an absolute fantastic job and has took the title public servant and not politician. And look at my track record, look at my history, look at the person that I am, and what I have done in my life. This means something to me. I want this opportunity. I keep telling people I want to be your state senator. I want to serve the people, and it's important to me. And I do believe we are at a time where people are fed up with crime. They're fed up with the poor leadership that we have, and are willing to step outside of that box. And I tell people all the time, if you're a Democrat, I understand why, even if you don't believe in it, or even if you don't support it, but because it really is a machine. And I guess the last thing I'll say, that if being a salesperson to get people on board and get people to support the campaign, is this: in the city of Philadelphia, you have a 7-to-1 Democrat to Republican registration ratio. Well, that's true, except in the 5th Senate district. I believe that is only a 3-to-1. And if you've seen how people have voted in the last 2 elections, it by number is the only it's the only district that a Republican actually has a chance of winning. So we can do this. This can really happen. And this is Philadelphia. And when it does happen, it happens grassroots. And really, I can't think of anybody more grassroots than myself. I'm here to serve the people. I'm not here to serve the political machine. And I'm getting a first class learning lesson of Philadelphia politics right now. And there are things that they're upsetting to me. It's upsetting to me to see that effectiveness and those who get results get overlooked, because if you're not a part of the political machine, and, like I said before, I'm here to serve and I'm ready to serve. And my experiences really make me able to connect with people in this city. I come from humble beginnings. I know what it's like to work in a refinery. I'm a blue collar person. That's the way I was raised. My mother worked several jobs so I could go to Catholic school. I see the value and I see the importance in that. And at the end of the day, it's about a legacy. And I want to leave behind a legacy of being able to help those, especially those fatherless children growing up in the city of Philadelphia. Growing up without my father really taught me life lessons in a way where if I didn't have the right community and the right support behind me, there's no way I could have made it out of it. And if we really focus in on community building and we really focus in on people, we can make some incredible changes. And this city has so much potential. I work in real estate. I see it every day. I could sit here and talk to you for an hour about the endless potential that lies in the city of Philadelphia. But there's a machine standing in the way, and I'm willing to face that machine, and I'm not going to back down. And I believe in the people of this city. And I believe the people are going to let their voices be heard May 17th for the special election.
Sam, I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like you are that guy who will stand up against the machine. And not just that, though. I think when people listen to this and people think about this and they think about you, I would like to ask them to think of it like this. Start electing people that you feel can be a good role model for your child. And Sam is that. We need more of that, because that's the type of person who's getting into public service, because Sam said he's ready to serve, but also Sam's willing to serve. A lot of people may say they're ready to serve, but I don't know how many are willing, and Sam is. So from my perspective, being a lifelong Philadelphia resident and with my experiences, I've had it with the machine. I've had it with the drugs, the crime, the lack of leadership. And I wanted to have Sam on because he's the type of guy that even me at 50 years old, I look up to somebody like him. He's the kind of man that I can look up to. And we need that kind of man to lead Philadelphia. We need him to tap into that potential and take Philadelphia to the next level. So, Sam, I really thank you for doing this. Is there anything that you want to plug? People can help out and do anything like that you'd like to say?
Sure. First and foremost, I mean, knocking on doors especially in the neighborhood that I live in has been such an inspiration. Seeing people that are happy to see somebody run has really inspired me. So thank you to all the people. My website is samforpasenate.com. There's a link to donate to the campaign. Look, if you really want to help, I mean, a $20 donation, a $50 donation, a $100 donation makes a world of difference. We are ordering all of our mailers. We are ordering yard signs. We are ordering everything we can get our hands on to let people know that I'm running, and it costs money. So the support has been amazing. And I just ask if you are able to give and if you are willing to support, that support is going to go to a great cause, and it's going to go to get the word out there that I'm running for state senate and that we can win. So find my social media. It's all Sam for PA Senate. If you type that into Facebook or Instagram, you can find me. And thank you, Charles. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for giving me a platform. If it wasn't for people like you, I want people to be able to hear me, and it's tough to get in front of every person individually because you want to give everybody that individual time. And I want people to know about my background. I want people to ask me questions. I want people to know the person that you're going to have fighting for you. So thank you for that.
Sam, not a problem. It was my pleasure, actually. So everyone, thanks for listening. Please check out Sam's social media, donate if you can, and let's help Sam help us, and let's take back Philadelphia. It's about time. It's been too long, and we need to do that for our kids. So thanks again, Sam. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.